Meditating, it lengthens your telomeres, which lengthens your health span, something. That's true-ish. There's a correlation at the very least. We will look into the research a little bit. I'm sitting here today. I didn't know if I'd have much to talk about, so I thought something I was doing this morning was looking up a little bit of research on meditation, how it might contribute to better physical health. So I thought I'll bring my laptop along and I'll look at some of that stuff while we hang out. So how are you doing? What's going on? What's your weather like? Tell me about the weather. I'm Canadian. I do like talking about the weather. It's perfect weather right now where I am. It's like 21 degrees, sunny. I'm in a green park, and because I'm in a city environment but in a green space, it means I get the green space. But there's not a lot of bug issues like ticks back home, rural BC. They're out of control, and you can't really sit in the grass or anything without getting them. I do need to check though after this, because a colleague said that he was walking through downtown Calgary, wasn't even near any trees, and he felt a tickle on his arm, and it was a tick. So I'm saying it's a tree. That's high risk. So I'll just have to check after, but I'm gonna do it right now because I think the chances are pretty low. And you can just check yourself for ticks generally, My whole life growing up though, we didn't really do that, so I don't, and they were around. I think they've gotten worse with like global warming and stuff, but so far surviving. Yep. What I talked about last time, yeah, kind of emotional comedy mic experiences, or the aftermath, and it's hard to not have the mind make up problems. That even happens to me if I have a good mic experience after it. We'll hide that house just so it seems like I'm more in nature. Yeah. Even if I have a good mic experience, my mind will want to sabotage me after, and like I'll feel really good. During the mic, it will be fun. After, I will feel good right after, and then slowly, like as I approach sleep and in the morning, I will get these self-doubts, and I will my brain will try to rewrite the experience as one that I should be ashamed about and that didn't go as well, and maybe I was crazy to think it went well. Let me know. Do you experience that in some area of your life? Doesn't have to be doing mics, but I know I have at least one comedy mic friend who listens to these sometimes, and we have talked about that. Actually, Helen, right? Sorry, can I call it? You don't mind. She's amazing and shares her experiences, vulnerable experiences as well. I mean, people, it's so common. You listen to any comedy mic, any podcast with comedians, they'll always talk about the psychological challenges of performing. But yeah, things have been going pretty well as far as changing those negative habits of thinking. It's actually been going pretty freaking well. Yeah, I'm trying to turn a new stone, leaf, stick, whatever, and not think about the mic too much the day of. Just have my preparation done at some point before, then kind of feel okay about that and try to let it be, focus on other things during the day, and then just go and do it and try to be in the moment and kind of let go, be present, have fun, and all of that energy will translate and it'll be contagious. You get, it's uplifting when someone is having fun around you, so I'm trying to just more focus on that rather than doing a polished performance with getting the exact words of my jokes and stuff. And I really am, I'm like, it's a work in progress, but like, I cannot believe how much I'm going in the right direction with that so fast. But you know what? I'm now remembering how, like, sometimes when you make an intention to change some kind of like mindset, habit, ways, patterns of thinking and approaching a situation, you have momentum at the beginning, and like you're inspired and you have more discipline, and it just feels kind of like easier for a second. And then as things kind of normalize, you can't slip backwards. So I guess I have the newbie positive experience with it, kind of feeling like, wow, why didn't I just do this earlier? This is like pretty easy actually. And I'm sure it will get a little harder at times, but I'll just have to work at it a little harder, maybe. Work harder at not working harder, is at something like that. Good times. Sitting here. Just gotta take a mindful moment. So how's your vagina? Mine, the pH is a little off, and the bacteria community is not quite right. I'm not joking. So physical health has been kind of on my mind lately. And one facet of that is that it's crazy. We should know more about it, but yeah, the vagina, you gotta take care of it. It's always like a fine line. If you like think about something too much and worry about it, I feel like you literally create stress hormones production that creates like inflammation. I don't know, these are my general ideas about what happens, but I think that's the general case. You like don't want to have negative thoughts about something, so you don't want to over focus on it, but I do think it's good to be somewhat in tune and aware of how your body works. And I've just been learning more about this lately, and whether you have a vagina or not, you probably know someone who does, so it's good to have a little education. And this is what I'm learning lately. You can get these pH strips. They're fairly inexpensive. It's kind of a crude test of, and it's really like, yeah, the pH, it's important. You want your vag to be a little bit acidic. This is all gonna come together, you guys. Just stick with me, whether you have one or not. Because it comes down to physical health and mindfulness and expanding your telomeres. That expands your lifespan, okay? So we're gonna come back around, but I wanted to give you a practical example. So the vagina likes to be a little bit acidic, so it can zap out things. I don't know, I'm pretending that's how it is. Well, in contrast to like your microbiome, your gut, which has like a bazillion types of bacteria, good bacteria, as far as I understand, the vag wants to have one dominant strain, at least the big family strain, like lactobacillus, I believe. Like, I'm pretty sure. It starts with the S. It's one that sounds like that, but maybe I'm getting it slightly wrong. No, it's gotta be, it's that. But I think that there could be like sub-varieties of that or something, but that's like the big main one. You actually want that to be dominant. So stress, semen, saliva, even your own period can make your vag more basic, less acidic, and more, basic as the technical term. And that's like, it's normal for it to ebb and flow a little bit, but like if you have a kind of persistent higher pH, which means it's not as acidic, low pH number means it's less acidic. If it's higher, that means your vag is going to be more susceptible to, infections and bacterial or overgrowth of the non-lactobacillus variety, or maybe that's also kind of what causes the pH to go up. So it's just like one general, and you can have like no symptoms really, like no noticeable ones, but some symptoms are, you know, the usual itching, discharge, odor, and I won't go into too many details about my situation, but it's not that I notice much. I guess my ego wants to let you know, it's not that the symptoms are really bad, but I just didn't realize that it is good. I do have some work to do though. A little bit of work to do. And I'm trying to do it with the mindset of empowerment rather than stressing out, because I cannot believe it. The more I learn about how and this isn't like woo science, but I tend to get first I listen to a variety of podcasts, a lot of health ones, physical health ones from like doctors, and but obviously when they have a podcast, they're often giving you the more pop health version of things so that it's digestible. But I was gonna say, I do get some of my physical health inspiration to learn more from more woo health science perspectives. Like I was listening to Deepak Chopra. You guys, anybody? And he's the one who was talking about meditation lengthening your telomeres, and just how meditation, your mindset can really, if you do it a lot, there's a correlation, at least in research, between meditators and lengthen telomeres, and I guess that like expands your health span. And I guess you guys didn't sign up for this when you thought you were going to listen to mindfulness. No, I'm totally talking about mindfulness. I just didn't know it was going to be so much about the badge. So, and also that he was talking about how meditating and being mindful and like kind of detaching from your thoughts can help you. If you just be present, that's also good. Also, if you have some positive thinking, both of these things seem to help with literally gene expression. Like it can turn off or turn on. I'll get my computer out and maybe look at the actual things, but because I was looking up actual like research papers tied to these ideas, and it does correlate with like decreasing inflammation by turning down genes that would produce that or something. And then if you have a science background, sorry for the bastardized version of this, but and that anyway, all of it contributes to like lowering stress and inflammation. And I know we hear about these things a lot and it just seems like it doesn't even mean anything anymore, but apparently it does. Like it actually does. So if you have a physical ailment that you're going through, that's all I'm trying to get at, is you can be aware of it. Maybe you got diagnosed with something, and rather than allowing your mind to make matters worse, because it literally can, not to stress you out, but literally stressing about it stresses your body out. So, but the flip side is that you can actually decrease your stress thoughts, and then you can just decrease your physical stress, and you can actually help your body heal and be better. So this is really good. So I've been thinking about this because one of the ways that they literally don't like to treat if your vaginal microbiome is off. One of the treatments is obviously antibiotics, but they literally say, this is what it said on my test, don't treat it if there's no symptoms, because antibiotics will fucking make it worse. Like you just are taking such a gamble by just obliterating the whole ecology down there, and then just hoping the right stuff grows back, and it probably won't, because like usually there's like a very high percentage, it's like 80% or at least 50% of people will then just get a recurrent infection like 6 months later, so they don't even really want to mess with it. So it's one of, that's why I'm like, well, I feel a little disempowered that there's not something very like pop a pill, you'll be better kind of approach to this. But meditating helps. Also, look at taking lactobacillus specifically, really high grade, if you have the vag stuff going on. You got to look into it, because like, oh, if you just take it, maybe it's not like, maybe it's counterproductive. I'm just taking it, and it seems to be helping a little bit with the pH going back down where it's supposed to. But that's my own experiment. Don't listen to, I am not your doctor. I am a doctor, just not a useful one, and not yours. So I'm trying to also just focus on mindset stuff and being just at ease with what's going on. And anytime during the day, if you are, just find mindful moments, just like right now. I'm gonna take one right now. I'm gonna first tell you why, again. You just take a mindful moment, it literally can re-regulate you into your parasympathetic nervous system state. And I tell you, that literally helps your immune system and all the regeneration processes. So it's no joke. Just take whatever you can throughout the day, even if it's when you sit down on the toilet, if that's the only moment you can find to just like I was watching the ants. Yeah, just try to take a moment here or there where you just kind of like, it feels like letting go of like if your thoughts were like a raging horse carriage, and you're just like, gotta hold on, and you're like following them and thinking that they're gonna lead you to like certainty or something, and you just kind of like let go and you just like drift. You're just like on the little carriage and the wheels, and it's like, don't worry, it's not going to tip over without the horses. And they run off, and you just like, just for a few minutes, and then just like, it comes to a stop. It gets really still. And then maybe your thoughts ramp up again. The horse comes back. I never heard anybody use that metaphor before with this. I think it's pretty decent. What do you think about my example? Do you think I'm a super brave female for sharing it? Such a hero. Getting my computer out. This is a different format. Hey, I'm sitting here and fuck. Oh, good. I was gonna say, oh, I cannot turn my hotspot on my computer if my phone is going and I don't want to stop it, but it popped up automatically. Yeah, I'm sitting. I'm usually walking and throwing the camera around, and now I'm just been sitting this whole time, and I got my computer. I'm sitting by a tree in the park with my computer. How's that for switching things up? Wow. let me know what you like and don't like about this format, while being nice, obviously. For example, and the good thing about me looking at my computer while I'm talking to you is just have a mindful moment. Just pretend it's a mindful moment when I'm not talking. Okay, so this is a live literature review, and I'm only partly capable of doing this. I don't have a hard science background, but this is in, let's see, the Journal of Mindfulness, which I assume it's on Springer Nature Link. I think that this means it's a academic journal. Let's see. I'm asking Chad, aka ChatGPT 4.0, which I'm paying for. So, is this an academic journal? Let's see. Yes, it is. Peer-reviewed mindfulness. So, what did it say? Okay, what are the results? Well, this is anticlimactic. This study says like the effects may have been overblown a little bit in the kind of initial studies, and there might be a little bit of bias towards those who study it to kind of like the way it's designed might increase the chances that it's seen as positive somehow, as in the length of telomeres being lengthened. I'm gonna see, oh, this is where ChatGPT would come in handy. I'm gonna put the conclusion. I'll say, can you interpret this in plain language? Well, it says that it's just that telomere length might not be the best way to measure whether mindfulness-based interventions like meditation are effective. More so that, yeah, there's other ways to see if mindfulness is helpful. I just want to know also if it actually increased. But it says the enzyme that helps maintain telomeres did show some improvement, but the effect was smaller than expected. Well, was something. That's okay. It's something. But yeah, other types of health activities might increase telomere length too. Yeah, I would assume that. Okay. I'm gonna ask it to give me some research on the physical health benefits of mindfulness practices. Yes. With links. The problem is I'm asking it to give me peer studied, reviewed, and I am not good at interpreting. So it's better if I have like the news source that reports on it or something, but then you never know if they're like really describing it very well, accurately. I'm gonna just ask chat to interpret this one. Wow, this is turning out to probably not be very enjoyable for you guys. Or am I being too judgmental? Because is it just nice to sit with me in the park while I do this, as if you were sitting right here and we were like hanging out? I wouldn't mind hanging out with someone who's looking up facts for me on this. Right. This one's about beans. I asked for a study on how meditation is helpful to physical health, and then I just put the abstract in the Chad gave me one. I put the abstract in here and said interpret this. And it's just all about what beans are good for us, which is important. Beans are great. You guys, there's no way I'm gonna edit any of this out, okay? Because editing just takes too long. So we just have to let this be what it's gonna be. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry if I seem a little low energy or something. I just feel a little bit that way, but not in a bad way. I actually am. I just kind of feel okay. God damn it, this whole video has been about how mindfulness can help us not stress about any physical ailments and actually improve. And my phone filled up. We're back. I want to make sure we had some positive studies to source for the physical benefits of mindfulness on your physical health. And rather than trying to read actual research, which is futile for me, I am at the American Psychological Association site, and it says they have a feature article. Well, it's from 2012, so there's like been way more on this since then. But it's let's look at their summaries. They say that yes, several for reduced rumination. Several studies, we're not at the physical side of things yet, but like several studies have shown that mindfulness reduces rumination. So you do, which would help with fewer depressive symptoms and less rumination. Meditators had significantly better working memory capacity, and we're better able to sustain attention during a performance task. Okay, so you're going to be just firing, you're going to be sharp, then you're going to become successful. That's going to make you super healthy, wealthy. You can biohack your way, you can pay people to do all your stressful things. So see, like, there you go. Stress reduction. Researchers have concluded from, for example, a meta study of 39 other studies that mindfulness-based therapy may be useful in altering affective and cognitive processes that underline multiple clinical issues of stress. I think what I'm gathering from the scientific research is that a lot of it is like correlations rather than like more definitive cause and effect relationship with mindfulness. But hey, we gotta take what we can get, and a lot of the proof is in the pudding. Whatever they say, you just gotta do it. And like, even just right now, on the way here, I ran into a tenant in my building. We had conversed before about possibly our landlord is kind of shady. And I ran into them, and they were talking about how the landlord is trying to get them, their lease ended like in 2 days. The landlord wants them to pay for next month's rent anyways because she hasn't found somebody to fill the space. That's like so insane. I don't even know how she would try to justify that. And so they're obviously challenging her on that, and talking to a lawyer. And I was very happy to be able to like provide some camaraderie and solidarity, and like just keep in touch if needed. And I also had reached out myself to like legal aid about our lease, and they were super helpful. So I was really happy I ran into them so I could give them that contact. And but as I was walking here, I was like noticing, I'm like, okay, that kind of activated me a little bit, because for the last week I've been so busy with other life things that it was been so nice to not worry about the landlord. And then I ran into that person, and I was like, okay, I can see how this sort of activated my stress levels and kind of anxiety. And then I just had to use mindfulness. I was like, okay, well, I'm noticing the thoughts that I'm having. Is anything currently going wrong with the landlord? No. Did I want to focus on other things in my life? Yes. Do I want this landlord to determine the quality of my life, or focus or attention right now, or at this period of my life in general? Like, I really don't. Really, really don't. So I'm just gonna allow the fact that I'm happy I ran into that person, because if I were in their shoes, I also would have wanted to run into another tenant to talk about this with. So I was like, I'm glad that I was able to be there for them. And now, and if I run into problems, I can probably talk to them later and find out how it went and what they did and stuff. So it's mutually beneficial. And I also want to let the experience go so it doesn't really affect the rest of my day. So yeah, it felt like a little bit stressy as I was watching the thoughts, and then I just practiced kind of being as I was walking, and trusting that it's really good for me to not always be chasing my thoughts. So I felt, what I'm trying to get at is like, the proof is in the pudding, is that my direct experience let me know that my anxiety had been reduced. So do your own experience. Do your own experiments and listen to your own experience. Like, yeah, there's sometimes I think a risk of like over relying on research. It's like, imagine I just had like a great day. I was like fun. I went to the water slides. I do like the water slides a little bit. If the weather's like perfect, I don't want to get cold at all. And this sounds like I go regularly. I don't think I've gone in 10 years, but and why would I have gone? Probably with children, but not necessarily. Like, I went to Disneyland a couple years ago, and I fucking loved it. And I don't have kids or anything, so yeah. Say I had so much fun at the water slides, and then I was like, well, but did I need like I need like some research to be done to see if like my cells indicated the indicators of having fun and releasing. It's like, well, no, I just experienced it, and we're just gonna move on with life and trust that. So also just, practice some mindfulness, listen to how it helps you or not, and go from there. Okay, the American Psychological Association also says, boost to working memory. I need that. My short-term memory has been pretty bunk lately, so I gotta keep going with this. Focus, yes, we all need to learn to focus more. Less emotional reactivity. We know this is all important. And I feel like that's a very direct experience that you can experience from doing mindfulness. Whereas the physical healing, that's the more indirect one. It's like you don't have the exact, you can't be like, oh, I just like let go for a minute and oh, my wound healed or something. But I think that you can probably trust that it is helping, because anything that helps put your rest and digest, if you can get your system back into a rest mode, that is when digestion and healing and stuff happens. Because if you're in the sympathetic state, fight or flight, your body is just focused on survival. It's not going to be focused on repairing and all of that. So yeah, I just talked myself back into a helpful certainty about how mindfulness, even like very not quite directly heals your body physically, but basically, because like it gets you back into the parasympathetic state. That's when your body does the healing, doesn't inflame its cells, like freaking out, and inflammation causes many of the physical ailments that come in different forms. So there, I solved the puzzle. You're welcome. And let's see, just a couple more benefits. Talked about more cognitive flexibility. You'll be less reactive. You'll just be able to like have space for whatever comes at you. Yes, we already know this. Is in terms of like reacting to your day, to other people, relationship satisfaction. You can become better at communicating your emotions to a partner. And other benefits. Mindfulness has been shown to enhance self-insight, morality. Wow. You're just going to become better God person. Treat people better. Live according to better principles. Intuition and fear modulation. That's great. Because what are you going to live by, fear or by love? So you want to modulate your fear. You want to, otherwise it's like a binary almost. Like, you don't want to live by your fears. No. I just don't have the energy to expand on that thought anymore, but hopefully you get the vibe and you agree. Okay, yeah, and then at the end here, evidence also suggests that mindfulness meditation has numerous health benefits, including increased immune function. So that helps with the physical health. Oh yeah, and there's really good, actually one of the best evidences about mindfulness's impact on physical health is with pain modulation and regulation. And just because I'm not going through like a physical pain at the moment, so that was less present on my mind, but I think that that's where some of the research is like most robust. Reducing, improved sense of well-being, reduction in psychological distress, and yeah, it might increase information processing speed, so just be like a little computer. As well as a decreased task effort and having thoughts that are unrelated to the task at hand. As well as decreased task effort. So it's not as much effort to do a task. Oh, and maybe having less thoughts that are unrelated to the task, so you're more focused. They already kind of said that, but yeah, decreased stress and anxiety. Okay, and all of this, because yeah, something that's been really drived home for me lately is that chronic low-grade stress is it's a killer. It's the silent killer of all of us. Whereas like your body and your mind can handle like acute moments of stress. Like, yeah, if a bear chases you or something, you can like kind of recover from that stress. Just like how if you see a deer almost get hit by a car or get chased by a dog, it'll like, book it. It'll be like fight or flight, and then it'll just be like grazing 3 minutes later somewhere and completely no longer bothered by the almost death experience. And so all this is to say is that the low-grade stress, whether you're worrying about a physical ailment like your vag pH being a little bit off, don't worry. Just like be aware, and you can take some steps to proactively inform yourself what you might want to do about that. And also just mindfulness, it just helps with all your physical health because it helps you get back into the parasympathetic state. I hope I'm getting those right? Parasympathetic versus sympathetic. Sympathetic is the fight or flight, I'm almost 100% sure. It gets you back into the rest or digest, not the fight or flight, okay? And that just helps get you out of the being in, you want to be in the rest and digest, okay? As much as possible, so that your body can heal at all levels, including whether you got a physical injury, then your body can focus on healing that part of your body. If you got inflammation in your vag for some reason, it just comes and goes, I don't know why I do, then it will mellow, everything will mellow. And you're gonna live so long, way longer than your grandma. We're all gonna live. I'm gonna live way past 100. So good. Glad for mindfulness to help with that. And I can keep making these videos when I'm a wrinkle bag out here, and that will be super inspiring. I'll be a hero, and I'll have a great audience of people over 130. Well, thank you for joining me and for trying out this new format. I hope it was helpful and enjoyable. Did I already say that? And keep getting those little sprinkles of mindfulness, and I'm gonna see you again soon. Bye. Also, quickly, I don't always forget, but sometimes it's good for me to get in the practice. Subscribe, like, share with someone who you think might benefit, and check out my website. I got coaching services. They're affordable. One day I'm gonna ramp up the prices, but for now they're pretty affordable. I'll do a sliding scale. You can kind of pay what you can, and you can even sign up for free because I want to get some testimonials and stuff. So do that. Have fun today. Bye.